Hey, friend. Welcome to the Inimitable podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine Harrison. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, mentor, visionary, transitional life coach, and of course, I am a neurospicy black sheep. Inimitable means something that is so unique, it is impossible to duplicate. This pod is for the neurospicy who are building mental wealth without a blueprint. Thank you for coming, and if you're here, it's because God needed you here. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I'll see you soon. And soon you shall see us. Hello, world. Whether you're watching this live or you watching this on broadcast, so excited to be here. We made it to episode 7, y'all. Episode 7. We here. And as promised, I said I was going to bring on another one of my mentees. And this one, she's like, May, because that's what she calls me. She's like, May, I want to be on the pod. I said, oh, do you now? I said, well, all right. And what do you want to do? She's like, I want to talk about mental health with young people because this is something that isn't talked about. I said, well, you know what, Camarra, your wish is my command, sis. And that was truly a sign from God because I tell you, I've been wanting to do this conversation. And I feel like this is just the beginning of many conversations with young people. So without further ado, ladies and gents, I would like to introduce to you my mentee, my little tink. Her name is Camarra Steele. She is a student at Southeastern Technical High School?
Technical Regional Vocational High School.
See, you should have just gone to Brockton High because I could have just said BHS, baby. Anyway, welcome. Say hello to the folks, Camarra.
Hey guys.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm so glad again that you're here, and I appreciate you wanting to have this conversation because it takes courage to be in front of people and to be talking about things, and so I'm glad that you're here. And let's start off with just like give us the background on who Camarra is. What are you about, sis? What's going on in your world?
I'm about everything, guys. Like, let's be so right. Well, not everything. Wait, not everything. But who am I? I'm just a young little black girl who lives in Brockton, who grew up with a lot of mental health issues. Well, I'm not old. It makes it sound like I'm old. I'm not even fully done growing yet. Anyway, I grew up with a lot of mental health issues that I wasn't aware of, or it wasn't acknowledged. So yeah, I had to deal with that, and now I am who I am today, presenting on this lovely broadcast. That my mentor presents to you guys. So hey.
Well, hey, period. Young brown girl in Brockton, Massachusetts. We love Brockton. I'm not there anymore, but we still love it. And
you left me off.
It's not like I'm not there every weekend. Yeah. Quite literally. Anyway, mental health amongst young people. Now, this is an interesting conversation because, like you started to say, and we're going to dig in deeper about all the things that you said, it's not talked about, and sometimes you don't have the language for it, right? So you're growing up, you're experiencing things, life is life in your world, and you're just like, I have no idea what this is. No idea what's going on, but I'm definitely feeling something, and I don't know what this feel is, right? So let's talk about the beginning. Bring us back to when Camarra first was like, oh, something ain't right. Don't have the language for it. Don't know what it is, but I'm feeling stuff. And then when you finally found out, like, oh, this is a mental health thing.
Okay, so like around when I was younger, like when the age you start getting, like, you start noticing, that I don't know what age that is, like, but guys, when you're growing up, you get to that age where you start to notice things or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I used to do it, like, first of all, I always felt like I was left out all the time, 24/7. That was just always, I don't know, it's always been a thing for me. Even now, I still deal with it, but like, we'll get into that later. But yeah, so I always felt like I was like singled out. I was always by myself. Like, I was different. I always had to, but like, I always try to fit in. Like, I was that type of person. And then like, yeah, I always just try to fit in and try to like be this like a people pleaser and be this person that everybody loved. And then I would just, yeah. And when it gets like, it got to a certain point in my life where, because I wasn't like fitting in, or because I wasn't at where I wanted to be, I got like really, really depressed and really sad. I don't know if it was depression, guys, because like I never was like diagnosed with it, but like I would call it depression because like I was so sad because I would just always wanted to be happy, but I wasn't. And then, yeah, so.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's basically like a gist of back in my day.
Yeah. So what I love about what you said is that there's things happening, you don't know what the words are. And like you said, you like technically it might be depression, but was never diagnosed with it. I don't know. Now, the people pleasing part, I like talking about people pleasing because unfortunately I was a former people pleaser and it's ghetto. And I say that because you really work hard to get accepted and you try to be everything to all people at all the time. And you're just like, this is exhausting and I don't want to do it anymore. And, you know, that's kind of a trauma response, right? Because it's like, well, I'm not received for who I am. So let me be whatever you want. But then I heard someone say to me once, like, you know, if you're pretending to be someone and people are receiving you, they're still not receiving you for you because you're pretending to be something else. Right. And so, you know, thank you, first of all, for sharing that because that was not easy to share. And when did you start going to therapy, Camarra? Like, when did you or your parents or whoever was like, let's get this girl into therapy? And what did you learn? Did you learn anything while being in therapy?
So I went to therapy like about 2 years ago when I was 14.
What?
I said about 2 years ago.
Okay.
When I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to therapy for like half of a year, like a good 6 months. It didn't last that long, but it was pretty good for the most part. I had two therapists, like an in-house therapist and one that I would meet online. I did not like the one I met online. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I did not like it at all. Like, I just feel like it wasn't like enough comfortability with her. I guess you could say, like, I just didn't really mess with her. Like, we didn't really connect. Like, but my in-house one, I think it was pretty good. Like, I was able to get a lot off my chest, talk to her about a lot. The only thing is, I felt like she never really gave me enough, like, feedback. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But I think it was a good experience. It was good for me to have to add on another person on my list where I could talk to and get things off. But I do encourage therapy, guys. You should get some.
Yes, please do. Encourage the folks, Camarra, because they need it. You know, therapy is tough, right? Therapy is tough because there's a whole lot of stigmas to it. It's like, I ain't crazy. I'm not going. These people can't tell me about my life. They don't know me. And so many things keep us from going. But I'm glad that you went. And I'm glad that you tried it twice. Because sometimes after people fail once, they're like, I'm not doing it anymore. You can't make me. I don't care what you have to say, right? So, you know, it's important as a young person to recognize like there's something that I should be doing. And, you know, sometimes our parents don't get it.
Yeah.
Or the family that we're in, they just don't get it, you know? So were you like misunderstood from your family members? Like, were you able to vent to anybody, any adult figure in your world?
I mean, for the most part, yeah, I always feel misunderstood for some reason, guys. But I just think that's just, I come to realize, I think that's just who I am. There's going to be people who understand me and there's going to be people who don't. So, okay. But, yeah, I feel like my family, like, they understand me, but they don't at the same time. Like, it's like, to win, lose. Like, you win or you lose. It's like, that's the type. But, I do have, like, it depends. My aunt, I'll rant to her about most things. Or, yeah, just her. And you. are the most people I rant to about my problems. But yeah,
it's hard. I mean, I think that's a good segue into my next question because, you know, as a young person, it's really hard to find adults that you can trust and be like, okay, so I'm going to tell you about myself, and please don't judge me, and please don't say nothing crazy that's going to make me like want to run away and head for the hills. So, what is it that adults like can do to create like a safer space for young people to open up and share?
I think what adults can do is, I'm gonna say this. Okay, talk to us, right? But don't talk at us. Talk to us. Talk with us. Don't talk like you're just a high authority. Like you just, well, like say if we're having a conversation, I'm telling you this is that and the third. Don't be like, well, you know, like da, 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 da. Like just try to like listen for once, guys. Just listen.
Not for once, but yeah.
Okay. So sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Anyway, like I was saying, like just talk. And all of us are different. We're not all the same. So it's hard. I can't speak for all of us on how to help us, but what you can do is watch like how we react, how we act to certain things, how we talk. You could definitely do that. And just try to like you have to it's so hard. I feel like for people my age, like you really have to figure it out. Because we don't even know ourselves. We're still figuring out ourselves, guys. So like I feel like you really have to just, like I said, watch. Like I don't know. It's hard, guys. So yeah.
I love that.
For ourselves, so it's hard.
So what I heard was we have to listen and talk to you, not at you,
Yes.
which is good, right? Because, you know, I work with young people and people are always like, Jamae, how do you do it? I was like, I don't know. You just sit down and talk to them. Like you just, I don't know, you be honest and you show them like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to like just hear you and understand the world from your perspective. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, I don't know if I have the patience. I'm like, well, behind the eye rolling and the neck rolling and the, you know, they're saying something. You just gotta be able to like weed through all of the theatrics that is talking to teenagers. And I like what you said about watching because that's the other side of it, right? It's like what kid actually says, sorry, young person, what young person is always like, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm feeling and how I'm feeling it. That's not always the case. Sometimes you got to watch, you got to see like, this person usually doesn't do that or usually isn't wearing long sleeve shirts in the hot summertime. So why are they wearing a long sleeve shirt and always tugging at it? And it's like, well, maybe there's something that they're trying to hide under their said sleeve. Hey, Kim. Yes, congratulations, Camarra. Mm-hmm. Wait, I can't snap with these nails on, but oh wait, what do y'all do?
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, so you know, I love that people have to pay attention to not just your words, but your actions, and then come to you as a non-judgmental person. Now, we love the Lord over here. You know, anyone who watches this pod, we know we love the Lord. So, what role does a good Lord above play in your mental wealth and your spiritual wealth and wellness?
I think first of all, he's my personal therapist. I don't gotta pay for. I don't gotta worry about judgment. That's my personal therapist. And I think he really he put me through a lot of situations and a lot of different things, so I can find out who I really am. I guess you could say. He also I think. Okay, I don't know how to word this, but I feel like he isolates me and on purpose. I don't know how to explain it. He makes me like the different one. And I like that, guys. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, you get what I'm saying. I hope.
Of course. Yes, isolation is absolutely intentional. And maybe isolation isn't the word because a lot of people.
Yeah, like I feel like isolation makes it sound
I mean,
bad.
solitude. Secluding you, solitude,
Yeah.
or like the Bible says, He pulls you out, separates you. Because it's true. The world is crazy, and these young people love y'all. I do. I really do. But your generation is very different, y'all. Gen Zs and now upcoming Gen Alphas. Ooh. Much better. Pray for these babies. But nonetheless, don't shake your head. Y'all are
not
different.
me. The rest of them, though.
Sure. Anyways, y'all are definitely interesting young people. And here's the thing that I love about what Camarra is saying, and we all need to pay attention to, is that young people go through some very, very, very difficult things, right? And when we are the adults in the situation, sometimes we become very judgy and we say things that we probably shouldn't say. And essentially what we end up doing is we end up pushing them away instead of bringing them closer, right? And when we serve God and we thank God for who He is, because we don't get it right most of the time, right? And God definitely can step in and help heal the things and reconfigure the things that are going on in your world. And I'm glad that you have God, But can we talk about what Camarra was like before she allowed God to come in and do the things?
She was crazy. she was crazy. She wanted to do what she wanted to do. She thought she was living her best life because she was doing what she wanted to do. So, yeah, she wasn't the best Camarra. Okay, that wasn't the best version of me because I thought that doing what I wanted and living my own way was the best way when it's really not. So yeah, that's what that was.
I mean, truth be told, we all been there and done that, sis. We all been there. It was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need nobody. I ain't got to listen to nobody. And some of y'all, even though you're not grown, like, I'm grown. I do whatever I want to. You can't nobody tell me anything differently until we hit those walls and we come crashing. And it's like, ooh, maybe I don't know everything. And maybe I should have listened to some people because maybe they had something kind of truthful to say. So being hard-headed or stubborn is a good word.
Yes.
What does that do for you as a young person who's trying to get better and who's trying to do it right, but for whatever reason, y'all just that the little stubborn thing just won't let you be great?
It does nothing but show you that you don't need to be stubborn. Like, it literally does nothing. Like, because I'm a very stubborn person. Everybody knows I'm very stubborn. I like to do things when I want to do things, but sometimes it's not the best way. Like, yeah, I'm just very stubborn. And when you're stubborn, like, you're stopping a lot of good things from coming to you because you want to do things that you want to do in your own way, if you get what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm still learning, trying not to be stubborn and doing things my own way. But it's going to be a long process. So just working on it.
And don't feel bad, Miss Ma'am, because I'm a whole adult. And I have some stubborn tendencies, not a word, tendencies, right? And I think when you're stubborn, like you were saying, it gets in the way, right? It gets in the way of like receiving help. And it reminds me of that story where that guy's on the side of the cliff. And he's like hanging on for dear life and he's about to fall. And he's like, God, if you're up there, I need you to send me help, right? And then he sends one person and then he's like, no, it's cool. I'm waiting for God. It's okay. Thank you. And then God sends another one and he's like, come on, dude. Like, I'm here to help you. He's like, no. God's going to do it. And then he gets to heaven. He's like, God, what? Why didn't you help me? And he's like, bro, I sent you some people and you kept rejecting them. So I don't know what you want me to do. Sometimes the form of healing and the form of help, it comes from other people, right? But when we shun other people, when we close the door to other people, sometimes that means we close the door to being helped into being well. Kita's in the building. Hey, Kita.
That's Kita.
You say Kita.
I said hi to Kita.
Oh, girl, I was about to say you better put auntie in front of that name. Anyway, so being stubborn is not where it's at. Now, can we talk about what is plaguing or what is like the big things that these young people are going through? Because young people are going through some big things, whether we believe it or not, whether we like to admit it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it. Young people are going through. Okay, so Camarra, enlighten the people. What are young people going through these days?
I feel like the main things, like, well, I don't know, the things that are like the labels on it are anxiety, depression. Like, I feel like a lot of like people I know are dealing with that anxiety and depression, and like the part just to like fit in, because my generation is like a party generation for some reason. Don't know why, but everybody just wants to party and have fun and do what they want to do. So I think those are the most like common things that are seen.
So anxiety, depression, but like, can we get a little deeper? Because y'all know me, and you know me. I like to go deep. That was a nice one. I'm not gonna say that wasn't nice, but like Pastor says, we're gonna throw it in the pot. But I need us to dig a little deeper, right? Anxiety, yes. Depression, yes. Peer pressure, yes. This party culture, absolutely. But what's really like underneath all of that? Like, what is leading to the anxiety? What's leading to the depression? If you're watching this and if you're watching it, go in the comment section, because we're having a conversation. So if there's something that that you're saying, like, these young people are dealing with, or you have a question for our lovely guest today, throw it in the comments. But anyway, back to you. So what is it? What's causing all of these mental health problems?
Some things that I could say cause problems for me is the people who you hang around. Definitely people, like just people in general, people you hang around, because people are just crazy. And I feel like music is a big part that plays, like, whatever. I feel like people don't understand that music really plays a big role in anxiety, depression, all that, because it depends on what you really listen to. You're putting that stuff into your mind every single day. You're putting your headphones on, you're walking because you don't want to hear nobody, you don't want to talk to nobody, you want to act all isolated, but you're listening to things that are not good for the brain. Like, it's making you want to do certain things that you shouldn't be doing. It's making you want to feel certain ways that you shouldn't be feeling. And it's just like, it's polluting your mind. I feel like that, and social media too definitely plays a big part. So yeah.
Social media, indeed. And you know what? There's some people in the comment section. Sorry, my nose is just a leaking. Y'all pray for me. Peer pressure, absolutely. And yes, ma'am, that music part, come on, come here, that was good. That was good. And yes, Kita, and what people watch on TV. Now, you just said a whole lot, and thank you for sharing it. And you know me, I'm going to unpack it. So first you said music. Now, again, we love Jesus on here, so it's going to get preachy. It is what it is. We tend to forget that Satan, right? Before he was Satan, he was Lucifer, which means he was an angel, and he was an angel of music, which means he knows good and well how to pull people through music. Okay, now I'm guilty. I listen to all types of genres, from gospel to rap to hip hop to I like some country, because country they be saying some stuff. But I also have to remember that I have to filter, what it is that I'm listening to, because what Camarra said, I don't think she knows how intelligent that statement was. It gets into your head, right? This thing right here, this lovely brain that we got, right? It is the battlefield of the mind, as Joyce Myers would say. Okay. So if the music we listen to, the people that we hang around with, like Camarra was saying, all of that influences our thoughts and how we understand the world and the things that we are doing. And if not careful, we find ourselves in situations that we ain't got no business being in. And for young people, that's a lot. Young people, y'all, and I say y'all because I'm not there anymore, but best believe when I was a teenager, Jermaine was a troubled young soul. And we praise God for God because I made it out. And, hopefully we can help other young people, kind of come out of that. So speaking of older people, who helped you kind of pull you? I mean, you said you're still in it, but like who's helping you kind of pull you out and be like, Camarra, let's do better?
I would say basically everyone around me because mostly everybody around me, like you, my mom. Actually, yeah, my mom, my aunt, my grandmother especially because she just loves to see. She just wants me to be better for some reason. You guys know, like she's just not for some reason, but you know what I'm saying. Like she just wants me to be like. She's the main one who's like trying to encourage me. Like even because I know she be seeing when I don't be feeling like going to church or not reading my Bible. She's like, Camarra, go read your Bible. I'm like, you're right. And I just go up in my room and I go read my Bible. So I feel like those are the people who help me. Like they'll like just say a little something, knock me right back on track. So I feel like
Right on track. What is this track that you're trying to stay on? Because I think what we fail to pay attention to is every young person has their own track to success, to happiness, to fulfillment. And we all like to put our own thoughts and feelings as to what these young people should be. Because again, I've known you since you were in the womb. Okay. So I know you for 16 and a half whole years, right? And, every parent, every grandmother, godmother, auntie, whoever wants to see, that person grow up to be something huge. Who are you trying to be, ma'am? Do you know? I'm still trying to figure it out.
I'm just trying to be, to be honest, I don't know, whatever God calls me to be, but I really don't know, guys, but whatever God calls me to be, trying to walk on that path so he can show me. Like I'm asking him to show me what he wants me to be because I feel like I don't really know and I don't want to just be living and not knowing what I'm doing, but I feel like eventually he'll show me when he has prepared me and he's ready for me to see, he'll show me. So yeah.
Come on now, young lady. Again, you guys, if you have stuff to say, stuff you want to comment on, throw it in the comments and we'll pop it up on the screen and then we can have her answer it or the two of us can answer it, whichever, right? So now that we're on the track and we're talking about Jesus, we done walked through the corridors of the church house. Now let's talk about yep, let's get comfortable, y'all, because y'all know me. Jermaine likes to ask those tough questions because quite frankly, we need to have conversation and people want to have conversation. So church folk, when it comes to mental health, how are we doing with it? What can we do better, if anything?
I wouldn't say we make it a shameful thing, but I just feel like we'd be like, oh, they'd be like, I'm like, oh, I feel like I have depression or something. Somebody could say that, like, well, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, or they just be like, oh, I'm praying over you, but like, I feel like we really just need to like, I don't know whether we have like little community groups or whatever. I feel like we really need to break down mental health. And just like really talk about it, because like even if like I don't know, because like I feel like even some people in the church, like they still don't know what mental health is. They just think of depression, anxiety. Like I said, they want to rebuke it or whatever. So I feel like it needs to be taught and it needs to be broken down. So like, yeah.
Keita said, not be so judgmental. And ooh, yes, ma'am. We're going to do this today because I can't snap with these nails. So we're going to do one of these young people things. Yes, ma'am. Be curious. And that is so important, right? I tell people all the time, like when you're curious about something, you take time with it, you investigate, you're reading, you're doing all these other things, right? Because you want to know about it. And I don't think people are curious enough about what mental health is. And you're absolutely right. We know the basics. depression, grief, and anxiety. But mental health is so much bigger. Where's my book? Let me. This thing, the DSM. Okay, this thing has a plethora of mental health illness disorders. You hear me? This thing is thick. You hear me? And it's more than just 3 categories, right? People are literally struggling, whether it's because life, whether it's because of chemical imbalance. We need to talk about it. And I love what you're saying. You might have said it comically. They're like, I rebuke that. Absolutely rebuke it.
Right. Like,
but like after the fact,
right.
How are we guiding people until, it's relieved? Or sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes these things don't leave. And maybe, just maybe, and I need us to consider it and hear me nicely, right? Maybe God leaves it there because there's a testimony that's going to come out of it.
I was good.
Like maybe, just maybe, sometimes we have things and God helps us to manage them. Sometimes God helps us and connects us with people to be able to have these open and honest conversations. Like, nah, yeah, girl, I'm depressed too. But you know what? God is good. I can't tell you that if I've never had a depressed moment. And if it wasn't so stigmatized, I think, truth be told, a lot of people would be honest, because a lot of us are sitting in those pews week after week, leaving depressed, leaving anxious, leaving suicidal, leaving whatever. And it's not to say we don't believe God. It's just to say, like, life sucks sometimes and people don't make it any easier. And that's just the reality. Sorry, y'all are in the comments. Praise him for the comments. Mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Ooh, that's a good segue. Because, yesterday when me and Camarra did our practice run, we talked about mental and spiritual wealth and health, right? Those go hand in hand, absolutely. But Camarra was saying some good things, and I'm going to see if she remembers what she said. So, spiritual.
Okay.
Spiritual.
Maybe I'll come back. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. When you are scared and not, yes. Never assume, y'all. Please don't. So Camarra was saying yesterday, I'm gonna start it and you catch it. Okay. She was saying that mental health and spiritual health, they go hand in hand, because with one, you got it.
Wait, continue what you were saying.
When one is struggling,
oh yeah,
you got it.
I was saying that when like one is off, the other one's gonna be off. When your mental's off, your spiritual's gonna be off. You have to find a balance somewhere in between. It's not always gonna be easy. It's not always gonna be balanced, because there's gonna be those times where your mental goes off like this, and then your spiritual's like, oh. So it's like you're gonna have to find the balance, but it's not gonna be easy ever. It's never gonna be easy. You're always gonna struggle with it, but you have to learn how to, like, make it work, weigh it out, make it even. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're like 2 peas in a pod.
Quite literally, because we are one person, but with 3 parts. Everyone has a mind, a body, and a spirit, and all 3 of those things matter, right? And a lot of people are so focused on the physical, like, oh, I gotta lose weight, I gotta get this body snatched, and I gotta da 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 da. Cool, great, yes, ma'am or sir, do that. And then they're like, okay, maybe I should go see a therapist because I'm feeling kind of crazy over here. Cool, great, do that. But then there's a spiritual side that most people neglect. And let's just be honest, I'm not knocking anything that people do, but I will say this: the universe and them crystals and the other things, y'all need to go deeper, because those things are created things, and created things don't always have the power to heal other things. Okay, I don't understand how a rock can bring about, or jewels can bring about certain things. And again, I'm not knocking it. This is Jermaine. This is a fighting chance right here. This is me. Okay?
And Camarra, she agrees. She agrees.
Thank you, ma'am. But like these created things, everything has a begin date. except for God, right? So crystals have a beginning date, gems have a beginning date, the universe, the stars has a beginning date. What happened to the thing that created all the things, or the person that created all the things? That's your source.
Yes. Yes.
And, again, not knocking it, to each his own. But I got to keep it like it TI is, and I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to apologize for it, is that we have to go back to the source to get this healing, to get this wellness that we need. And that's a part of your spiritual wealth and wellness. So, Camarra, since we talked about mental health, let's talk about spiritual health. How do you get your spiritual man or woman together?
I definitely pray a lot. I do. I talk to God a lot. Like that's I do it every day. People would be thinking I'm crazy too because I be talking out loud. I just be talking, but I really don't care. Like that's like how I keep myself sane, y'all. I just be talking to God. Like, you know what, Lord, I ain't finna do that today because now we can stay over there. So I really just be talking to Him. Like that's my main thing. I also I told you this yesterday. I journal a lot. I try to write down everything. Yeah, that's the main two things I try to do. Talk to God, journal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I make videos, y'all. But the videos will never get posted. But I'll make videos and I'll talk or I have my own little Bible sessions and videos. I be doing that, guys. But I just.
So why don't you post it?
One day, maybe. But
let me tell you something, Camarra. I work with young people and I believe I'm good at what I do. But I'm still an adult and I'm not in my 20s anymore. So, some young people like, girl, you too old. Bye. They need to hear from people like you who are their age or a little bit older, who have some kind of sense. Okay. And because they'll listen to you, right? They're not always going to listen to me. They're not always going to listen to their mothers and their aunties and godparents and all this other stuff. Sometimes they don't listen, right? But they need brave souls like you who's going to say, you know what? Y'all, yeah, life is hard. And being a teenager and dealing with peer pressure and all this other stuff is very difficult. Yet and still, we're here and we're going to make it. So those peer groups that you talked about, I'm so glad you mentioned that because shameless plug. Jermaine and Defining Chance is going to start in 2025 to run these lovely mentoring groups, peer groups, church and out of church, because you know what? We need to talk about it. And young people need to hear about it. And, young people are my thing. Now, let me be clear. These young people are 13 and up. Them babies, we thank God for them. I don't have the energy for it. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that shameless plug in there. There's going to be a flyer at the end.
Be having the energy too. We just can control it sometimes.
Yes. Anyway, y'all will see the flyer at the end of the video. We'll be in contact anyway. So yeah, having those peer groups is definitely a part of getting this together because it's absolutely necessary. And again, people don't listen to adults. Half the time adults don't listen to adults. Let's keep it real. And so I love what you said. But then yesterday you also mentioned that in your journaling, there's some other things that you do. And I told her oh, I'm stealing that because that's good. Can you tell the people what we talked about?
Okay. So in my journal, I write forgiveness letters to people, or I don't do it though, but you could write apologies if you feel as though you did something wrong. Because what I found is when you're depressed or you're feeling down all the time, and there's so much stuff weighing you down, I feel like forgiveness is one of the main things that could because you're not forgiving someone or something that has been bothering you or whatever. You're not forgiving something from the past, maybe a vet or a person or whatever. You're not forgiving it. So you're just letting the fumes burn and burn and burn forever instead of just forgiving the person, moving on with your life. And Like, just moving on. Like, y'all not moving on. Y'all just holding on to grudges for dear life. Like, a grudge is not gonna save you. Like, it's not gonna save you. Like, if you're falling and you gotta catch onto the cliff, you holding the grudge. What the grudge finna do? You just finna fall. Like, you gotta let it go. You hold on to the cliff and pull yourself back up. So yeah.
Y'all see why she had to be on here? Come on, Cam.
Yeah, guys. So
yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And I told her I'm still in there. Now, here's how Jermaine rolls. I'm gonna give you credit the first 3 times. After the 3rd time, it's mine. Okay. So I'm gonna shout you out. And I'm like, no, one of my mentees, you know what she does? She writes these apology letters. And I think that's beautiful because what you said yesterday was I'm gonna write them on little stuff or big stuff. If someone accidentally bumps me in the hallway, I'm gonna write that letter of forgiveness and be like, you know what, I forgive you. Or if someone did something drastic to me, I'm gonna write that down. I'm like, you know what, I forgive you. Because grudges absolutely will kill people. Grudges are, yes, absolutely yes. Grudges are silent killers, right? Mental illness is a silent killer. And again, we're going to talk about that as well. But grudges are something like Camarra was saying so eloquently, man. When we're trying to hold on for dear life and our hands are full of anger and resentment and bitterness and grudges, where do we have room for healing and happiness and joy and peace? We don't, right? And so something we also talked about is when you just hold on to things and then you keep trying to push it down because, you know, sometimes we're conditioned to do it, especially as Black women. It's like you ain't got time to deal with self because you got other stuff to do. Even as a young lady, right? And we push things down and keep pushing them down until it pops up and then there's no more room. And so I like what Camarra said is that you got to learn how to let things go every chance that you get. Because if not, we will continue to suffer. So, okay, Camarra.
And actually, let go, guys. Don't be saying, "Oh, I don't have a grudge against you." You still be thinking about it tomorrow. Let go, forgive, and let go. Okay.
Come on, y'all. Can y'all throw some clap emojis and some heart emojis in the comments for Camarra because she is speaking some truth. Okay, so we talked about spiritual wellness. We talked about mentorship. We talked about, you know, relying on God and having Him help us to get through the things that we need to get through. And I think, you know, something that I don't know if we touched upon this yesterday, but I feel like this is something that has to be said, and it might be a little sensitive for a lot of people to talk about. But when you talk about young people in depression, usually what comes up is, you know, thoughts of self-harm or suicide and stuff like that, right? And sometimes even adults don't have the words to say to someone when it's like they're going through something and they're not feeling their best and life is lifing, as I like to say. As a young person, Camarra, and so let's just say your friend came up to you and was like, Camarra, I don't want to do this anymore. What words do you have for
them? So I personally do have this one friend, and she's just like that, y'all. So let me tell y'all what I tell her. I tell her every day. I'd be like, because she's a Christian and she's trying to like get. Well, I don't really care if you're a Christian. I'm gonna say it to you anyway. But she's like trying to get her life back on track. So one thing I do say is like, God placed you on earth for a reason. He didn't just put you here just to put you here like, hey, what you gonna do next? No, He put you here for a reason. You have a purpose, and like He wants you to fulfill that purpose. So whatever you're going through right now, whatever feelings you're going through, like you said, it's for a testimony on the other side. Just for you to like show like your growth and where you came from, and to fulfill your purpose. So that's what I tell people. Don't dwell on this moment and the sadness or whatever you're going through. Think about the bigger picture. Think about what God placed you on earth to do. Yeah.
You don't make me cry. Like, who's this little person? You're not little anymore, but Again, y'all, I've known her since she was a wee little tot, since she was a baby. Came into this world, had her on my little lap. My lap ain't little, but you know, I had her on my lap. And now look at you. Okay, Camarra. Yes, absolutely. Creating that safe space for people is necessary, and making sure that you do try to bring life to the situation, right? So I love what you said, and I would second that and I would echo that. If you can bring life to a situation, whether by your words or because you, who is the embodiment of being a Christian, and you carry God's spirit with you and you carry God's love with you, sometimes your presence alone has brought life into the
I
room.
was gonna say that. I was gonna say because I just seen Auntie Kita's message in the chat.
Oh, let's throw it up there. Mm-hmm.
And even like you don't even have to. Well, sometimes you should. I do to say something to a person if they're coming to you, but you don't even have to say something. Sometimes you just sit there and listen, and your presence is good enough. Like I just feel like that's also a good thing. So I was gonna say that too. She just brought it up. She read my mind, guys.
No, yeah, of course. You definitely just showing up, it means the world to people. And I know it's an uncomfortable moment. And sometimes before I got this type of training, I was like, I don't know what to say. Because I'm young myself. Like, I don't know. But showing up, bringing God's presence with you, bringing love into the room, being a safe space for them, that means so much. Because I've heard stories upon stories of someone who was like, oh, I was about there. Those pills were in my hand, or the knife was in my hand, and I got a phone call. And all that person did was just listen to me. And all that person did was just be like, I'm here for you and whatever you need. Or sometimes they physically showed up and they were like, that meant the world. Because a lot of times people, when they're in that state, they're like, I'm alone and there's no point. And Camarra was like, oh, there's a point.
Yeah.
And come on,
And God,
Jesus. Come on,
God
Jesus.
places you in that situation for a reason. To see that person. Like, let's be so real. So if somebody's coming to you with that, like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, please encourage them, listen to them, accept them. Like,
come on.
Put you there for a reason.
What we're not gonna do is have Jermaine cry over here, because my little tank is out here preaching to people. You hear me? She is preaching. And you don't need a pulpit to preach, y'all. You really don't. You really don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, guys.
Just listening. Listening is a huge part of what I do. Half the time, I won't say half the time, because I'm a very active counselor. Don't see me if you ain't ready to do work. But listening is most of the job. Working with young people, listening is most of what I do. It's not always about what I say. It's the fact that I create the space. They show up and they know, like, when they leave me, they didn't just experience Jermaine, they experienced God, because I brought him in. Y'all, Jermaine would not be effective in anything that she does if I wasn't like bringing God with me and his angels, his whole team. Oh my God, bring them all, sir. Because the kind of stuff that I got to encounter, whoo, insane. So, Camarra, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being honest and preaching to the folks, because yes, ma'am, absolutely everything that you were saying is spot on. That's a you, girl. Anyway, so as I mentioned, because we're getting towards the end of the pod.
Sorry, guys.
You're doing so good, girl. As I say at the end of every pod, so there are the reason why this is called the Inimitable Podcast is because an inimitable is something that is so unique it is impossible to duplicate. And if you missed the beginning of this pod, after we stop going live, you're gonna have to go back to the beginning and watch it. Camarra said that sometimes she does feel, or she did feel, left out and different, and black sheep energy, all of those things, right? So I like to have whoever's on, whoever my guest is of the day, to give advice. Now, I told Camarra yesterday I need her to give advice to two types of people. I need her to give advice to the young people and to give advice to the older people that are over the age of 19. So let's start with the young people. What would be your advice for them?
My advice is to find something that brings you peace. First of all, please find something that brings you peace, because like this podcast says, trying not to crash out. Okay, we all crashed out at one point. Okay, so find something that brings you peace. You maybe praying, writing, singing, something, going on a walk, going outside. Do something that brings you peace, joy, happiness. And once you find that, you'll start to, you know, prevail. Is that a word? I don't know. And grow. And yeah, so yeah, that's my advice. And then what was that? What was the other people? The people
You
were saying.
don't.
Oh, when our people, when kids, when young adults, when we're not young adults, when
Young
teens,
people. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Jesus, come on, cold. That's
Okay,
all.
I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when you see us, because sometimes actually you won't always notice that we're going through something. Some people hide it really well. Just check in and don't be the type of person to check in and make the person feel like you're being nosy. Because I don't like people like that, okay, guys? So just try to check in and just make sure it's genuine and you make them feel comfortable. And yeah, just always put your listening ears on and listen. And yeah.
Ma'am, if you don't come on my podcast and preach to these people and drop some gems and mic drops, you better do it. Yes, madam mm-hmm. Listening and not judging, showing up, mm-hmm.
Yes, showing
And
up.
asking questions. Y'all, I don't know if I can emphasize this any more than what she already did. Ask questions. Do not assume. Now, people yell at me all the time, and I get on everyone's nerves because apparently my discernment is a little stronger. And so, like,
Wait, can we just highlight Auntie Kita's last message in the chat? That's good.
I did while you were talking, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just put it up there good. That was good, y'all.
Okay, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. When you ask questions, it's so important, right? Unless you have this really good gift of discernment like God gave me, but I believe that's very intentional because of the field that I'm in. Like, ask questions. Don't assume you know what's going on. Don't assume that these kids are just acting out. Sorry, these young people are acting out just for the sake of acting out. Every behavior is learned. Every behavior, there's a reason behind it, whether subconsciously driven or consciously driven. Behavior is a reflection of something that is not being said or something that was said but wasn't understood. It wasn't tended to. Okay. So, yes, ma'am, ask questions. And if they don't answer you the first time, let me tell y'all how annoying Jamae is. I will sit there and ask you about 3-4 times in 5 different ways.
I could vouch. Okay. I could vouch.
If I see something that's going on, and again, this is just Jermaine's discernment, and I've done it to Camarra. She'd be like, "No, Mamie, I'm good," and I'm like, "Camarra,
every time, y'all, you hide nothing from her."
I mean, people can hide stuff from me, but not for long. Anyway, exactly. And so I'm like, I ask in 5 different ways, and I show her or them every single time. Like, I'm not here to tear you down, make you feel bad, whatever it is, but I see something. So tell me, come on, bring it here, and eventually they do. So yes, ask questions and make sure that you are listening. And if you don't know how to do it, call me. Yeah, and I'll give you some helpful hints and tips and clues.
But you have to be open, guys. Be open.
Say that again in case I was talking.
Open. Open. Because a lot of adults have very closed minds and maybe try to act like they're open, but open your mind for real this time.
Let's define what this openness is that you speak of, Miss Ma'am, because we still got 5 minutes. What do you mean by open?
Like, I feel like I was saying earlier. Well, I don't know if I said this or if I said this yesterday, but I feel like, and this could just be me being a young person, I don't know, but I feel like most adults feel like that they're adults, so they just know everything, and they just, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just like, well, you're a child, so, like, can we stop that act, yo? I don't like that. I'm so sorry. Like, I understand you guys are adults. Yes, we should have respect for you. Yes, you should be treated the utmost respect. You should be treated like an adult. But at the same time, you cannot use that against us, because then we build up more resentment against you guys, because we don't want to talk to y'all because y'all just think that y'all know everything, and y'all want to be like, well, you're a child, so that causes a lot of problems. Have any solutions other than to you feeling like you did your big one because you're an adult. Like, let's calm back down, because we're all people. We're all, even people in their 50s still don't know who they are. So let's just all be a family. Let's just all be happy.
So what I heard you say, Miss Ma'am, is openness is being humble and understanding that even if you do know everything, which I don't know who does other than Jesus, but even if you do know everything, you don't always know the person, right? And you don't know why people do what they do. You don't understand what the inner makings of their beautiful minds are. So give them time and experience the world through their eyes. Love, compassion, grace, trust, humility is absolutely necessary. Like I've been saying on all of these episodes, remember, we are humans first. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter your background, your color, economic status. Everybody is a human first. And we forget that because you are young people and we're just like, they don't know nothing. I used to hate it when people said it to me. Jamae, girl, you're 12. Go sit down and shut up. And, don't tell me that. Because what you just told me is I'm irrelevant. And if I already think I'm irrelevant and you just confirm that by your words, you lost me. You lost me as a witness, as the Bible says. You lost me as a person. You lost
builds
me.
Up.
Yeah, it does. So Camarra, her name is Camarra, but I got 5 million nicknames for her. I'm so proud of you, girl. You did so good. Y'all, again, throw some claps and some hearts in there, because she did absolutely amazing. Yes, she did.
Thank you, guys.
Camarra dropped them gems. So next week is my last podcast of 2024. Woo! Or a podcast episode of 2024. So I started off the Inimitable podcast with my brother, and I'm going to end. Yes, Keita, thank you. I'm going to end this year with my cousin. My cousin Consuela's coming on next week. We're going to be talking about, some family things, not our family, just family things, and mental health and the secrets that tend to occur and the silence that tends to make things a little bit worse. So join me next week, 7 p.m. Yes, the day after Christmas. Absolutely, I'm going to go live. With that being said, y'all have a blessed and amazing Christmas. However you celebrate Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or don't at all. But we love Jesus over here, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas. And I'll see you right before the new year. And, pay attention to what's about to come up in this video, because like I said, Jamae's going to work in 2025. Okay? All right. Camarra, love you, girl. Wait, what do y'all do? Y'all be doing it like this?
There's so many ways.
There is, literally. Bye, guys. Hey, guys. Jamae here. Thank you for watching this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Listen, I am looking to transition everything to my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/@AFCCS77. Go there, go subscribe, and let your people know, because a lot of my content is already on there. I have a series called Black Man Heal series. That was great. I Am series is on there. Join the Fight series is on there. And now this Inimitable podcast is on there. So all of the content that I've been putting together for the past, I don't know, year and a half, it's all on there. So please go check it out. Also, after this, there's going to be a flyer that's talking about Jermaine's ready to go to work, okay? Mentoring young people and young adults between the ages of 14 and 26. I'm really trying to do that more. So if you know any programs and churches that have some young people that need mentorship and need group counseling, let me know. We can talk, we can contract, we can partner, and maybe doing more podcast episodes. I'm just ready to get in there. So again, go to YouTube. I will see you later. Check out this flyer. All right, bye.